What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. When I have the camera off to the side right here, so some of you guys are wondering because I've gotten emails and messages. The camera on the side means I'm going to read something off the computer in this direction, right? The camera right in front of me, the old school OG vintage BioS3 training when I first started, right in front of me when I'm squared, make that shit square. That's when I'm just talking. So tonight we're going to read some stuff off of the computer, and we're going to talk about contralateral training. Now, unilateral training, but contralateral training, which is something we're going to get into it. Anyways, so I have an interview that I'm going to do with Dave Taylor on Wednesday, and Dave is a strength conditioning coach. He's really into sports medicine, and he's really into rehabbing injuries and activating muscles to prevent injuries. Like it's a big thing that he does, and he's really into it. I've known him for quite a while. Smart guy, really good with this stuff. And you know, I wanted him to come on and explain some of what he knows through his techniques about this contralateral training. Now, let's go through this whole thing right now, okay? What is contralateral training? So, as you're injured, like my pec tear, while training one side of the body, the other side still gets stimulus, okay? So a lot of people, like, you know, they just say, oh, just stay home, rest, do nothing. Like some doctors would tell you to do that, like rest it. Don't even go to the gym for like 4 weeks. Let your body recover. Now, that's not the best thing to do, okay? And how do we know that? Well, time has told us that, but more and more doctors are starting to come around. For instance, you have a hip replacement surgery, you're actually on your feet walking around that day. Whereas back in the day, you'd be in bed, right? I mean, you have a back surgery. My mom had back surgery. She was up and walking around later in the afternoon, like 2 hours later. Like, they don't want you laying around. They want you actually using those muscles, not overtaxing your system, but using those muscles. Now, back in July, I was at Super League with Dorian Yates, and I was extremely lucky enough to have the opportunity. I knew that maybe this opportunity would never come again, to talk to him about some things that I would always wondered about. And, you know, you hear rumors or whatever, but just ask him right to his face, you know, about some things. And one of them was the bicep tear and training one side of his body. And he was like, yeah, he goes, you know, I did actually train because he tore his bicep and then he hit the Olympia. I was like, you didn't train at all for the Olympia? And he said, no, I trained one side of my body, the side that wasn't injured. And I was like, well, nobody ever talked about it. He said, yeah, well, in the magazines, they had like only so much room on a page, so they didn't really put that part of it in there. He goes, and it made it seem like I didn't train. He goes, but I did. There's a picture of me online. So I looked for it, and I found the picture of him in a sling. We'll put it up here, where he's, you know, doing hammer strength presses with his arm in a sling. He trained that way in order to get to the Olympia, and he won. So I was sitting there going, that was in July I was talking to him about that. And I know I have heard of before people saying if you train one side, the other side gets an effect from it, because the body, technically the nerves as they fire, the nerves can make your body react as a unit. And you don't really realize that until you're injured, and you realize that standing up out of a chair, your pec activates. And how do I know? Because it fucking hurts. It's not from the actual weight itself. It's when you literally go to stand up, even if you're not pushing off, you go to stand up, your core activates, your lats activate, your delt, everything activates to just stand you upright. You know, if you're walking down the street and walking down the stairs, you don't realize that those muscles actually activate too. So your muscles constantly, even if you're doing a chest press, like your lats are activated, your shoulder, pretty much everything is activated as a unit. So the contralateral training, where, you know, or the unilateral training, basically training the side of your body that is not injured, sports scientists and sports medicine doctors and stuff are starting to come around, and there's even an actual routine, and I don't know where I found it or how the fuck I found it searching, but I cannot find it again. I wish I had just saved it or whatever, but it actually talks about training the injured body part as soon as the pain and swelling subsides to actually get it to recover faster. In the write-up about it said you'll recover 4 to 6 weeks faster if you're actually training that body part again. Now, you don't go in the gym and try to bench press 400 pounds again like I did, right? But there's cable machines and stuff that you can use with like 10 pounds that is barely any movement, but it puts enough stress on the body part itself to increase blood flow and help the body make scar tissue. The scar tissue is what actually gives it more strength when it starts to scar up. It actually helps it happen faster. So I thought those were interesting. But the contralateral training, let's kind of go through this. So this is on the NIH website, and it says there is solid evidence on the cross-training phenomenon, but the training load required to achieve it has yet to be established. The aim of this meta-analysis was to deduct which unilateral strength training load, duration, frequency, intensity, and type would enable the biggest strength increases to be obtained in the inactive contralateral limb. The examined studies were limited to those written in English language, blah, 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 blah. Okay, it says it was done with 3 sets of 10 repetitions and a 2-minute rest time period. Effect size did not relate to absolute volume, relative intensity, absolute duration, and speed of execution. In conclusion, to optimize contralateral strength improvements, cross-training sections should be involved fast eccentric sets with moderate volumes and rest intervals, okay? So what does this mean? Okay, so when I read these things, a lot of times it takes me a minute to, I gotta break each piece of it down because just reading out loud like that sounds like pretty technical, right? So basically what this thing is saying is don't go in the gym and blast your good side. You're gonna go and you're gonna reduce the volume, reduce the intensity, but you're still gonna keep the volume moderate. So you have a moderate volume, the intensity is fairly low, the load is low. So now, for instance, when I go in the gym, I'm gonna do back. When I'm doing reverse grip, one arm pull downs, I maybe have 30 or 40 pounds on the machine, right? When I do seated rows, it's maybe 60, 70, 80 pounds, something you could do 20 reps with very easily, and you're stopping at about 15. From there, I move on to, so I'll do the reverse pull down, then the seated row, then I'll do like the one arm wide grip. So we actually have a cable machine that allows for me to grab way out here and pull down this way. So I'll move from exercise to exercise, resting about a minute or two in between sets, not pushing it very hard, and you get a pump, like very slight pump, you get a pump. But here's what's interesting. In the body part not being trained, when I'm in the gym training, I have it in a sling, and the sling fastens around my waist. So it keeps it very tight to my midsection. And this side will actually get a pump. You actually get a pump in that side from training this side. How it happens, I don't know, because the muscle is not really being activated. And the muscle in my pec is not even contracting because I don't feel any pain. As soon as that muscle contracts, I feel pain. So I know the muscle's not contracting. I'm purposely trying to not contract that muscle, contract other muscles, etc. And literally, you know, take that whole body part out of the movement, which is very hard. Because again, you go to brace and you don't even realize that you're doing these things. But now what happens is those nerves that fire on one side, both sides of your body have a tendency to kind of work together. I mean, they work independently, but they also want to work together. Like that's their goal, right? So those nerves fire as well. So now what happens is over time, as you're training the other side of your body, those nerves that are firing will keep the strength up. So now what happens is you lose muscle size, like the muscle will atrophy in general, right? But the strength doesn't really diminish as much as it would if you just sat around doing nothing. It actually keeps your strength there on the side that you're not training. So when you go back to training, you start easing back into training, you're not so off balance that this side is super strong and this side doesn't want to do shit. It's more balanced that way because you've reduced the volume and weight and stuff on this side. So this side is gonna, I don't want to say atrophy, but your strength is gonna go down on this side. This side is gonna maintain or slightly drop a little bit, so they kind of even out, and you're basically starting from a better point that you would have if you had not been training the other side at all. Now, the other type of training that was putting more blood into the muscle itself, something that it's not new, and it was very clear that they said that when you go into the gym, you're going to feel two different types of pain. One type of pain is injury pain, okay? You know what that is right away, okay? If you don't know what that is, you're going to figure it out very quick. The other type of pain is a tightening or burning sensation in the muscle that's been injured, which is not an injury pain. It's something completely different. Like when you feel that pain of an extended set, when you're benching and stuff, it's painful, but it's discomfort, right? It's not really pain. When you rip a pec, that's not fucking discomfort. That shit hurts, and it hurts to your fucking core. It is extreme, not your core, it hurts like a motherfucker to your bones when you tear that muscle. It's different. So what I did was I actually went to the gym, and we have this, I think it's Life Fitness. I'm not sure who makes it, but it's actually like a seated cable fly, could be used as a press machine. A lot of gyms have these things. And you can put 20 pounds on there. So I literally put 20 pounds on there, and I grabbed the cable with this arm, and I put it in my hand, which is the left arm, which is hurt, injured. I pulled it back, and as you guys can see now, I can actually get my shoulder up here. And what I did was I pressed slowly, contracting that muscle slowly, pushing it out, no pain. I wasn't feeling any pain. You could feel the muscle contract, and down slow, right? By about the second, halfway through the second rep, like right about here, it was starting to burn a little bit. Like you're getting like lactic acid burn, right? As you get up to here, about the third rep, I was like, okay, that's really burning. Like it's not injury pain, but it's burning more than a normal set would. Grab the thing, put it down, done. It was only 3 reps on that one side. Some blood went through there. I noticed that it was more pliable. I was able to move my arm a little better, and I was like, huh, it's like warming up that muscle that's been kind of dormant for a few weeks, and shit, it actually feels pretty good. Well, by doing the unilateral training, which technically is contralateral training, as well as this new, I don't want to call it new because it's been around for an extremely long time. And fuck, I wish I could find this. I've searched every fucking keyword trying to find this thing again. I cannot find this shit. So if you guys know what it is, let me know down below so I can find this shit again, because I read the thing several times. I went through what a doctor was saying. And it made sense. Like when you get in there, your body's going to let you know by pain signals whether you're ready to move that body part or not. If you're not, stop. But if you're ready to move it, do not let it just sit around and be immobilized and sit on your ass for another 4 to 6 weeks, because it's not going to help. It's actually going to make it worse. The scarring is going to change the pliability of that muscle. It's going to tighten up. And when you stand up finally, you start to move it, not only is it going to be extremely weak, but you're not going to have a limited range of motion, so you stretch that out too. And until it's stretched out properly, you have a chance of injuring it again and snapping the muscle or even the tendon this time, because it is so tight and it's not pliable anymore. So if you think back to, and it's not a good analogy, but it's something maybe you could grasp onto, is when you were a kid, when you get those booster shots in your shoulder, right? Well, I would just let my shoulder hang because they hurt. I was like, oh fuck, I would let it hurt. Now over the course of like 24 hours, that shit knotted up like a motherfucker, right? It completely knotted up, and then I couldn't move my arm at all. It was like a frozen shoulder, right? Well, my dad would tell me, keep moving it, keep moving it, keep moving it, keep the blood flow in there, and it won't be as bad. The next time I had gotten the booster shots or flu shot or whatever it was, I did keep moving it throughout the day, and it didn't do the same thing. It didn't freeze up, it didn't hurt, it wasn't the same thing. Even though it was the same shots that I got before, it was completely different. So I understand the theories behind it. I don't really understand the science behind it, because they don't even really understand the science behind it. They're trying to figure it out now, but they do know that these effects do happen, they do work. And for those of you that are messaging me and posting on my Instagram and posting here saying, Jerry, take it easy, go easy, take a break, take a rest. Guys, here's the thing. Taking time off like that could absolutely be the worst thing you do for an injury like that. And, again, modern science is letting people know over and over again, like, you have a major fucking surgery, and they want you up and out of bed that day, because they know when you start moving around, it heals faster. It's actually better, and you heal better than if you just sat there and left it, completely stabilized, and then had to go through it later on and try to stretch it out and do all the physical therapy. Like, by not staying out of the gym, by doing contralateral training, and this new type of training where you barely get enough blood in there just to pull some nutrients in there and keep the muscle stretched out and keep it moving, absolutely 100%. It's been 2 weeks today or 2 weeks tomorrow since the tear. I'm like 3 to 4 weeks ahead of schedule. I'm already moving. The swelling is going away a ton more. Like, as soon as I started doing those presses like this on the machine with the cable, the swelling went down immensely. It was like the blood was literally being able to flush itself out of the muscle from the tear. I mean, it's amazing how fast it was working. I'm sitting there going, wow, everybody else's first instinct is to just sit there and rest, take time off, let your body heal. But realistically, when we're building muscle, we're causing damage and getting it to heal to build more muscle. And we do that very quickly. It's not like we do one set and then we just sit out of the gym for a couple months and let that shit repair. It's like you do your fucking sets. Some people doing 30, 40, 50 sets on Monday, they fucking hop right back in there Tuesday. Why? Because the body can adapt to it and it can heal. And it can heal better with human movement rather than instability. Now, don't get me wrong. There's shit where you fuck yourself up. You got to be fucking stabilized, okay? Like, you break your back, guess what, motherfucker? You're laying there in that traction thing for a while. You break your neck, you're in fucking traction. However, a muscle that is not fully torn off the tendon is not something that you have to fucking lay in bed for 2 months for. And, I have plenty of friends that have had, bicep tears, and the bicep tears repaired. And, flat out, they were told plain and simple, like, here's the deal. It's going to take you this long, that long, whatever the case may be. And right away, they start physical therapy, like fucking, 2 days after the surgery or whatever. The day of the surgery, they keep it all bundled up and stuff like that. And they give them a lot of drugs that fuck them up because they're pain and stuff. But I never took any painkillers. I never took any for the pain other than a little bit of Advil. And, now I'm getting movement back in my arm. I'm saying, okay, look, sitting around is not going to do any good. It's not. It's absolutely not. So what do I do? So we're going to have Dave talk a little more about this because he understands a lot about it. And we had a really good conversation the other day about some really cool shit and how fascinating the body is. So I'm going to bring that to you guys as soon as I can get it up. I'm leaving for Orlando this weekend. That's another thing. If you guys are in the Orlando area and you want to meet up, I'm going to be at the Orlando Europa Games this weekend. So that's April 13th and 14th. In Orlando, Florida. That's where Orlando is, right? At the Titan Medical booth. So I will be out there hanging out, chilling out. I don't think we're going to really do any training or anything, but who knows? We might. I mean, I can't really do much, but I'll do my fucking little spiel that I do, in the gym. But make sure you guys stop by. We're going to be hanging out all weekend, taking pictures, having a good time. And, it's unfortunate that I'm going to have to roll out to Florida with a broken wing over here because, you know, I did something stupid, because I was really looking forward to going out there and doing some filming with Titan and some gym stuff, and unfortunately that's going to have to be put on hold for now. But yeah, so come out there and meet us, and I'll get that thing going with Dave this week, and hopefully this will help some of you guys out there, because I know a lot of people get injured all the time. And guys, don't listen to people out there saying that you're stupid because you got injured. If you got injured, you're fucking working hard. You're pushing the fucking limits. Now, could it be from a stupid thing? It could be. But it doesn't mean you're fucking stupid because you get injured. You can get fucking wrapped up in things and you fucking take things too far. That's human nature, okay? If you got injured because you got wrapped up and you wanted to bench 600 pounds, you're fucking human, okay? So be aware, guys. Contralateral training, unilateral training, as well as that other type of blood flushing training, whatever the fuck it was called, is working wonders. BioStrengthTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biostrength.com is a blog. It's a fucking new training to heal up, and we are